Welcome to our home in West Wickham, which has served as our dwelling, our office, and over these Sundays, and certainly during this Holy Week, has also served as our chapel. Our garden is a quiet, beautiful place, which allows us to just hear God. And on this Tuesday of Holy Week, many will turn to the account of Jesus cursing the fig tree, as found in Matthew chapter 21 and Mark chapter 11. Matthew's account says this: "Early in the morning, as Jesus was on his way back to the city, he was hungry. Seeing a fig tree by the road, he went up to it, but found nothing on it except leaves. Then he said to it, 'May you never bear fruit again.' And immediately the tree withered. When the disciples saw this, they were amazed." Well, over the past few weeks, many of you have ventured out to a store hoping to pick up a desired food item and have instead been disappointed to find a bare shelf. I suspect at the moment you may have wanted to, but realized it was rather pointless to curse either Tesco or Sainsbury or the customers who cleaned out the items before you arrived. But in this passage of Scripture, Jesus was teaching a living parable and making a point about the purpose of the tree that should have been fruitful, but wasn't. Matthew's gospel says that Jesus saw the tree, but on closer inspection found that it was nothing but leaves. Mark's gospel states that the tree was in leaf, but upon inspection did not have fruit. Fig trees in the Middle East have multiple harvests, fruit harvests in the course of the year. And the sign one looks for when looking for fruit is the tree in leaf? Well, Jesus was saying to his disciples, what is the purpose of a fruit tree if it does not bear fruit? Matthew's gospel shows us that this is not the first disappointment with fruitlessness Jesus encountered in the week, but the second. Just the day before, Jesus had entered the temple, and the bustling activity and the Passover pilgrims all gave the impression of life. But Jesus immediately recognized that the temple, designed and consecrated as a place of prayer, a place for people to encounter God, was in fact dead, desecrated, and doomed. The temple and the fig tree both gave the impression of life, putting on a good show, but neither fulfilled their intended purpose. Well, this passage was set at a specific historical point in time, but what we have read has meaning and instruction for us today. We too have been designed for a purpose, and as followers of Jesus, we must be careful to live in the purpose and fulfill the purpose Christ has given us. In John chapter 15, Jesus teaches once again with an illustration from the garden, calling us to be fruitful. Jesus speaks of our purpose as Christians, those who live in loving relationship with Christ. In the 8th verse, Jesus says, "This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples." And what does fruitfulness look like? Well, Jesus goes on to say in the 12th verse, "My command is this, love each other as I have loved you." In these challenging days, Sharon and I have been the recipients of a bounty of love and care by the members of our core family. Your unexpected but deeply appreciated calls have demonstrated that you're not just leaf. You don't just have the appearance of Christ's love, but in fact, you are bearing much fruit. When we were privileged to serve as corps officers, we had a banner hung near the exit of our sanctuary for our people to read as they would leave the meeting each week. Returning back into the world of home, school, or work, they were reminded that the fruit of the Spirit, as recorded in Galatians 5:22, was to be maturing and growing in their everyday relationships. The banner reminded us that the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. During this week of reflection, we contemplate Jesus, who embodied every aspect of the fruit of the Spirit so completely and so beautifully. I think our prayer would simply be, Jesus, through your Spirit, help us be more like you. God bless you this week, and be fruitful.